I think this is the most fun that I have had in a Sonic game.
Just period?
Maybe just period. So, our 100th episode is coming up.
Sure is.
And we were just kicking around ideas, and I think we should get the bad ideas out so we can do the good ideas next week.
All right, let's hear them.
Okay, so for our 100th episode, and just so everybody's aware, the episode in question is going to be episode 100 of Video Game Podtimism, the Optimist video game variety show where two best friends talk about the wonderful world of gaming.
Getting it out there quick. All right.
My name is Chase, a.k.a. Bone Bone.
And I'm David, a.k.a. John.
Okay, yeah. I love that.
Bone. Where did Bone come from?
I was watching the stream of Workplay Vibe, and AJ Fileri was playing Backbone.
Is it a game Backbone or like using the backbone to play a game?
They were playing the game Backbone.
Okay.
And they were getting closer to the end. And so AJ was like, hey, I'm going to spoil the end of this game. And I, in response to the description of the end of the game, was attempting to say backbone, more like backgrown, because the ending was like kind of groan worthy. I fucked up and I said bone, more like backgrown. And
bone.
Proceeded to get, I would say, rightfully posterized for a little while. And then the phrase bone sort of spurred and it twisted off and crash landed into the creation of a character. So I was taking on the moniker of Bone the skeleton for a couple of hours.
Does he have twice as many bones as a regular skeleton?
Just a regular skeleton. His name is Bone. Okay. This is a lot of lore for Video Game Podtimism. But yeah, anyway, point being, go watch Workplay Vibe. It's a good channel.
So you said that on the stream? Like you typed it in? Like to the chat or something?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Yeah, I fucked it.
You fucked up, dude. How do you fuck up typing?
I'm on my phone and it was early in the morning.
Oh, I've been there.
I will say typing, spelling specifically is not always my strong suit. Sometimes I'll just put up a brick of like a spelling.
I've graded some of your spelling tests in elementary school. I've seen
some real some real omissions.
Everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. It's fine. It's how it is.
Yeah. Spelling is not one of mine. Anyway, we should get the bad ideas out for this podcast first.
Okay.
For episode 100.
Let's hear it. Do you have any bad ideas?
We play 100 video games from now until next week, and we talk about every one of them.
Oh, God.
Bad idea, I think. Mostly because it's just not possible. That's not a thing we can do.
We play 100 seconds of 100 games from now until next week and see what happens.
We're getting closer to a good idea here. I will need to find 100 video games on hand, but like that's not a terrible idea.
Chase just gave me a knowing look when I said that. His head tilted
my head down and opened my eyes.
Looked up at me. It's like, baby.
I'm not opposed to that.
Not opposed.
I think we've mentioned this one before, but maybe doing the entire episode while trying to play a DDR.
Oh man, I will burn like 100,000 calories doing that.
Yeah, this podcast does tend to go a little bit longer, and I haven't been really working out for a long time, and DDR is an intense cardio workout.
So it sounds like a great way to fuck up like my tendons and my ligaments, you know?
Yeah, just going from not working out very much to 2 straight hours of DDR.
Yeah, my muscles will fatigue very quickly, and I'll only have stability through my my connective tissue. It's not going to end well. Yeah, we rank our 100 best games of all time and then just talk about number 100.
That was an idea you pitched before the show. Here we are. Back again.
The self-burn.
The challenge with that one is that we have to come up with 100 best games, which may be a fun exercise in itself. But then all of the work that went into the painstaking creation of like the top 50, the top 90, in fact, 99, you just put that right in the dumpy.
Yeah. It goes just to the one better than game congeniality award.
And then we talk about Power Stone for an hour and a half.
Talk about Toomba.
Talk about Toomba. You know what? Toomba might be a pretty good called shot for what my 100th best game is.
We talking about Toomba.
Guess. We talking about Toomba or Tombi, as the Europeans,
oh my God.
As the Europeans know him.
Talking about Toomba sounds like a 90s sitcom.
Starring Timon and Pumbaa.
Starring Timon and Pumbaa. Or I was thinking it was like a caveman who like gets unfrozen in the 90s.
Oh.
And then it's like, I don't know, step by step, but with a caveman.
I was imagining this as like a romantic comedy,
Ooh.
maybe starring Brendan Fraser. I think I'm just thinking of Tarzan.
I was about to say, I think you're just thinking about Tarzan at that point.
It's a good one.
Which really isn't too far from Toomba.
No. And Brendan Fraser was looking great in what was the word I just said? What was the name of this movie?
Tomba? Talking about Tomba?
No, the one that he was actually in.
Tarzan?
Tarzan. I don't know why Tarzan was purged from my memory, and all I could think of was George of the Jungle. I'm like, that is not the same guy, I think.
Was he? Oh, he wasn't Tarzan, though. He was George of the Jungle.
Is it George of the Jungle?
Which is essentially Tarzan.
Am I getting punked right now?
No, I think we're just having one of those weird 90s moments where we have a shared misremembering of something, like the Bernstein Bears and the Bernstein Bears.
Okay, wait. We're 6 minutes in. David, video games.
No, it's George of the Jungle.
It's George of the Jungle, not Tarzan. Both tree folk. Both jungle tree dudes.
Yeah, jungle men who have grown up in the jungle and are ripped and attractive.
And Tomba. And Tombi.
And Tombi. And Tombi. Don't forget about Tombi.
Hey, have you been playing video games, David?
I have been, surprisingly enough.
Could you tell me about those, please?
So I have beaten Death's Door.
Congratulations.
Beat it. A very fun game.
Yeah, it's pretty good, huh?
Really enjoyed it. Interesting story at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Went some places I didn't think it was going to go, but great. Really, really fun. Combat stayed tight and responsive throughout. I loved all the different like power-ups you could get. Yeah. I loved like the very kind of like easy, off the beaten path exploration that you could do. It wasn't like forcing you to do anything, if you did go off the beaten path, you didn't like stray too far and think like, oh, is this the main path or is this the off the beaten path? Like sometimes if you're in like a Skyrim dungeon, you just don't know. You're like, am I going the right way? Am I going the wrong way? Because kind of want to go the wrong way first and just get all the stuff before I hit the cutscene and like have to do it all over again, right? Only gamers will know.
Jesus.
But no, it was really, really great. Yeah, had a very good time with Death's Door, and then also beat It Takes Two.
Wow, you're the beating gamer this week.
I am the
bean.
The bean? I thought you're bean. Isn't that what you call?
It is, yeah.
That's what you call your fiance.
That is what I call my fiance. It is
I could be your bean too, baby. Don't worry.
It's a little bit warmer in here today in the pod chamber, and I think I'm still getting my like summer legs back because we're coming out of winter is the season that I was looking for.
Okay, so this is how you were explaining this Freudian slip here.
Yeah. Oh, it's fine. You can be bean. You can be bean. That's fine. We're good.
No, I was the conquering gamer this past weekend. This past 2 weeks, I should say.
Tell me how that game, not like descriptively or detail wise, let me know how you felt about the end of that game.
I felt like it took me off guard a little bit. I didn't think it was going to end when it did. It kind of made sense that it ended there, but at the same time, I don't think that they were properly punished for some kind of shitty things they did through the course of the game.
Mm-hmm. The two characters that you're playing as.
Yeah. There's one part of the game that was kind of traumatizing, honestly.
Yeah.
Where the book of love that is like your smiling captor throughout this whole game is telling you that to turn back into your regular selves, you have to you need like the tear of your daughter, essentially. Like she needs to cry. Yeah. And so the first thing that both of them come to is just like, let's destroy her favorite toy. That will make her cry. And then you go and you drag this elephant like off the top of her castle as she's screaming and pleading for her life, and you're like ripping her like legs off and her ear off and like get to the ledge and just like throw her off, and the whole time you have to like be smashing a button to like drag her away. And she's like, it was messed up. Like Mallory looked at me, she's like, David, this is fucked up. I'm just like, I know, but we got to do it if we want to beat this game. So just keep smashing triangle and just cover your ears, baby, because we in this together. But yeah, and like they never face consequences for that. That was kind of the big issue that I had with it, is like they destroyed her favorite toy, like ripped it apart, the game like never chastised them or punished them for that.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, you did that and that was kind of weird, and now we have to like go on to this other thing. It just kind of like skipped over it.
I think this was the part that I heard about on the besties where they were like, this is brutal. I did not like this part of the game.
Yeah, and they never like discuss it or like explain why that was necessary. It just seemed like an idea that someone had, like, oh yeah, let's make them destroy her favorite toy, but never like became part of the narrative structure of the game. Because everything else I thought was quite good, but this one part I'm just like, this is this is brutal, very questionable. Yeah, it was weird. But I did like other parts of it where it's like, oh, you had to find your own passion and like be your own person to be able to be there for the other person. So they did that for like each of the characters in the game, like help you find your passion and your love for life before you can find your love for somebody else, let alone for yourself, which I thought was great. A great message. Really, really quite good. But yeah, I'm glad it ended on that note and not the let's murder our child's favorite toy note. Yeah.
I would kind of hope that like they would get to that point of like trying to murder a stuffed animal, and maybe like at that point they have the realization of like this isn't how we do this. Like we have made a mistake at this point in trying to pursue this direction.
Yeah.
Rather than like, no, let's double down. This is the way to do it.
They never had that moment really.
Yeah.
Like both of them were just like, this is horrible. I feel bad. But they were never like, they never really went out of their way to say like, okay, that was messed up that we did, and now I'm going to do something else to try to make up for it, or like go about this a different way. You know, they expressed remorse, but not cognizance of why that was so bad, or went out of their way to like fix it. Because it's just like, oh, I guess that wasn't how we get back to being human, so let's do something else now. It's just like, That's very.
It feels like very video game writing where it's like so objective based that like you kind of forget to like write in how someone should react to that.
Yeah, which is a bummer because the rest of this game is not like that.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what I think also is part of what makes it so jarring is that the rest of the game feels very organic. I'm like, okay, I see how they're more putting like video game elements into this story as opposed to trying to make this kind of like shocking video game-esque moment and it's shoehorning it into this story about a relationship in a family unit, essentially. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That was probably my biggest issue with the game, but it does so many other things very well. It's just a shame that they did that because I don't feel like I can ignore that part because that's honestly one of the most memorable parts of the game for like all the wrong reasons. Whereas the rest of it's very kind of like paint by numbers, find yourself, love the person you're with. Kind of story. Yeah. It's kind of strange end feel to this game. Yeah, it's a shame because like I feel like there's oftentimes moments in games or like in any piece of writing that like parts of it are not going to be as good as other parts, right? Yeah. Like inherently there's going to be some writing in a piece of media that is like not as spectacular as one part of it. Sure. But like it does stink when like one of the bigger moments in a game is the part that's written kind of poorly. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it sounds like that is a big part of the story, and for it to kind of like go over a little weird is like, oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, it was strange. It was very strange. It would be as if like in God of War, like Kratos suddenly turned into like a deeply loving father for like 10 seconds when like things got weird and then went back to it and you're like, what the fuck was that, dude? Like, wait, hold on, what happened here? What happened? He's like very soft and kind, like out of nowhere, and then goes back to being like he's like telling brash. Him, good job, boy. I'm proud of you, boy. Good job, son. What the fuck was that? Good job, son. Oh my god. The controller might burn in my hands if he said that. Yeah, no, it definitely felt like that. But a lot of good things to be said about the game, too. Yeah, sure. I love the diversity of the levels, the diversity of the gameplay loops. It was just like kind of constantly new stuff every like hour or so, which is a great way to keep you engaged. And it was all like done well and always kept that kind of cooperative mindset in place because there's no way you could go through any of these levels without having to coordinate and talk to the person next to you and like rely on them. Which I think is it's really great that there's games like these out there. So yeah, one major gripe and issue with the game, but I hope they make more games like this and keep kind of pushing this genre forward because I think there's a market for it for sure. Did you play Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons? No, I did not. It'd be worth playing because it's the same folks that did this game. Because they did this one, they also did A Way Out, didn't they? They did, yeah. Okay. A Way Out was the other one they did. I think Brothers is like
excellent, like a really, really good game.
Okay.
And like delivers on the same sort of stuff that you're talking about of like having to grapple with like sort of the two player scheme. Yeah, it's good. I won't say anything else, but I think it's a really good game. Like I think it delivers on that promise that they put in It Takes Two and A Way Out as well.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Anyways.
Yeah.
And then I also have started playing Firewatch.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I just played through this one.
Yeah, you were just talking about this one. It's on Game Pass. So I'm just like,
yes.
No reason not to play this, right? And it just started getting real good last night. I've been playing through it kind of slowly. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like, this is going to be a story about me dealing with my wife who has early onset dementia, like super early onset dementia. Jesus. Like, it made me very sad to think about my life being like that, which would be like in 10 years only, which is crazy to think about. But now it's taken a sharp turn into other territory that it's been hinting at subtly in the beginning. And I'm quite enthralled. This was one of these moments where I'm just like, I'll play for like 30 minutes before bed. And it was like an hour and a half later. I'm like, oh shit, this is going to screw up. This is going to mess up my sleep for the night, but I'm in it now.
Yeah.
Can't stop at this moment, that's for sure. So really enjoying it. I don't know what's going to happen, which is probably one of my favorite things that a game or any sort of media can do.
Yeah.
It's just be not purposefully unpredictable, but just like, I don't know where the story is going.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really, really quite enjoying it. And it's just a nice kind of interactive story more than anything else. It's very fun. I'm quite enjoying it. Good game.
Yeah. I loved my time with Firewatch, and I totally agree with what you're saying about like not knowing where something is going in games. I feel like games specifically can take like a really sharp turn sometimes into genres that you were like not expecting it to be in. Yeah. And I think that's partially due to like the pacing of games can be really variable. Like you can have a game that is 100 hours long, or you can have a game that is 3 hours long. And like, unless somebody tells you otherwise, you're really not sure how long a game is going to be.
Yeah.
And so with something like a film or something like that, like you've got kind of an idea of like, okay, shit is happening now. And I can see sort of rising action and see where things are going. But with games, sometimes you're like, I don't know how much more of this I got. I don't know if this is just going to be like a flash in the pan and like a moment of like momentary panic, or if like this is the story. I have no idea.
Exactly.
And so it's, yeah, I agree that game does it really well. And I really liked how the game ended. I'll be interested to hear what your thoughts are on it, because I can see it being polarizing, but I thought it was like really well handled and really good. So yeah, I also really liked Firewatch. It's a good video game.
Cool. All right. I'm excited to play some more of it tonight after this podcast then.
It's not super long. I feel like you probably could beat it pretty quick.
Yeah, I feel like I might be in like the last act or so. It's kind of my gut, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited for it. All right, baby.
Oh, are those all the games you're playing?
That's all the games I've been playing. So what have you been playing? I'm letting you in, Chase. Tell me.
Yeah, thank you. I was on the edge of my seat wondering if you had picked up Elden Ring yet. So I'm just kind of
I'm saving that one for after I take my test.
Oh, that's May. A phenomenal idea. Yeah.
Otherwise it's gonna fuck me up. I can tell. I need games that I'm just like, okay, I can put you down right now, so I can focus on like studying. But it's up there. I am trying so hard to avoid anything and everything Elden Ring related on the internet. I'm doing all right on that so far, so I'm trying to keep it that way.
Yeah, talking about it is so weird, which I will in a second, but like it's a game that for my money is not that spoilable. There's no huge twist in the plot where you're like, oh my god, I can't believe.
Sure, but like I feel like the thing you can spoil is like the design of the enemies or the bosses or stuff like that. Because that's really what you're playing these games for.
Sure,
it's just like to see what monstrosity that you must fight comes next, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Anyway, I will hold off on describing any of the monsters in these video games.
Sure. Thank you.
So I've been playing some video games. First one I'll talk about is I'm still playing Gran Turismo 7. Still pretty enthralled by this game, surprisingly. Like nice. I have played games like this before where I pick them up and put them down pretty quick just because like, it's racing. Yeah. Like it's fine. But it's super enjoyable. I didn't realize this initially, but of course, like included in this game are a lot of electric cars.
Ooh. I'm in the market.
It's so much fun to drive these fucking things because I don't know what an electric car feels like to race, right? Like, I don't know what it feels like to drive. So, like, getting in, like a Porsche electric car is like really satisfying because it suddenly goes from like a racing sim to like feeling like I'm driving in fucking Mario Kart, which is just such a joy.
Because it's just like the instant acceleration, right?
Yeah, instant acceleration. There's no like gears, so you just like go and slow down. Like that's really it.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Do they have any Elon mobiles in the game?
They do have a Tesla. Yeah, you can get in one of those things.
Nice.
But to my next point, it is good. The Teslas are expensive in this video game, unsurprisingly. And I've been playing it a lot. I've been playing a lot of this game, and I'm coming to find out that they are very stingy with their money in this game. Like I am racing a pretty fair amount. Like I've played a lot of races, and they do give you cars as some of the like race rewards. But what they don't give you a lot of is currency. And so like if you wanted to go buy a car, that's usually pretty tough because the races that you do to progress the like cafe story missions, for lack of a better word, they are usually gated behind using a specific kind of car. So like if you're in this menu or this like story beat, you have to use cars made by Ford or something like that. Okay. Right. Which is fine. Sure. And usually you have something close to that, but inevitably you will have to tune your car up a little bit to get it raceable. Because a lot of them aren't in that good of condition when you get them. You have to kind of like up the stats on these things, which also costs money. And so like by the time you're done souping it up, you've gained enough money from the race back to just get back to where you were essentially. And so like I'm not really making a lot of money in the game.
You're kind of just spinning around circles. You're doing donuts right now.
I'm doing donuts, and like that's not an awful thing, but it does feel kind of icky because the solution that the game advertises kind of loudly is, hey, you can spend some real money if you want to.
Oh no, the microtransactions are taking down Gran Turismo too.
Yes, and like I am always reluctant to bash on microtransactions. I think like unless it is pretty egregious, I don't think it's that bad of a thing. And like essentially, specifically in games like Overwatch or Fortnite or something like that, oftentimes the things that you're paying for are skins, right? Like it doesn't have a really strong effect on the game. But with something like Gran Turismo, it's like you're unlocking specific ways to play this game, right? Like it feels a lot more like maybe a fighting game where you would have to spend money to unlock fighters or something like that. And not in like the DLC way, right? Like just like the base set of characters.
Yeah.
And so it ends up feeling kind of like a bummer and like kind of grindy and a little icky.
No.
And especially because I was just reading about this, that they like tuned down how much money you get because they're like, hey, people are making too much money too quickly. We got to make more money. And so they like made the like rewards a little less good. So yeah.
Also what corporate America has been doing to the rest of America for the last 40 years, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Not to get political or anything right now.
Yeah, no, the Gran Turismo economy, there's a lot of income inequality and wage stagnation going on in there.
some stagflation going on.
Yeah. So I'm still really enjoying the video game, but I can see that the longer I'm playing it, the more it kind of starts to feel like an idle game that is like, hey, if you really want to start getting in here, you may have to start spending some money.
Man, that is a ringing indictment of this game. Gran Turismo feeling like an idle game.
It's the experience of playing the video game isn't an idle game or feel like an idle game. It's just, it feels like an idle game in the way that it starts to creep into feeling like you need to spend money to have fun.
Sure.
Because the actual racing is still really, really good, right? Like all of that feels incredible. It's just, for anybody who's played like idle games for a long period of time, eventually there comes a point where you're just not making very much progress very quickly. And so I think, it's incentivized at a certain point to push these transactions on you of like, well, if you want to speed it up, you could spend $2 and, make it go a little bit faster for a half an hour or something like that. And like the same thing is true because you'll get these like, invitations in Gran Turismo 7 of like, hey, you should come race our car. You need to buy it, but we want you to race it. And it's like a car that's like 1 million credits or something like that.
Oh my God.
I've never cracked 300,000 credits. Like at no point am I going that quickly at all.
Dang.
And so far as I can tell, you can't sell your cars either. So like you can't regain money from any of these things.
Oh, lame. What the heck?
I know. Yeah. So there's parts of it that are kind of bumming me out, but I think I'm I'm still enjoying the game. I just, I'm trying to ignore the microtransaction stuff as much as I can.
The mechanics are good, but it seems like they've decided to gate the very like fun kind of joyous Mario Kart Teslas behind a paywall, just like real life.
Yeah, no, I don't need to be reminded that I can't afford a very good electric car in a video game.
This is supposed to be my escape, damn it.
Come on. Anyway, the next game that I am playing is this game called Corekeeper.
Corekeeper.
It is an early access game that I came upon on Steam. It like popped up to a couple of, highest whatever charts on Steam. And the art looked really good. And I was like, okay, I'll check this out. And it's essentially this like top down kind of like Terraria or Minecraft game or like pretty close analogs. You're like plopped into this like underground area and given pretty basic tools like a hoe and a pickaxe and like a sword and shit like that. And essentially, it follows a pretty similar path to like a Minecraft or a Terraria, where you essentially just start wandering out into these like mines and caves and shit like that and breaking down the walls to like build yourself access to a certain place.
Sure.
Which will then garner you more resources that you can bring back to your wherever you set your base up and shit like that.
Gather some resources.
Yeah, go get some shit. And so like that part of it I think is pretty familiar to people who have played those games. It also pulls in, oh, by the way, the name of this developer is called Pugstorm, which, I love.
Gets you going.
Gets me going.
Snacks.
Snacks. And yeah, so that part of it is pretty familiar. I think there are other things that are other inspirations that it's drawing on. It has a little bit of Stardew Valley in there.
Sure.
In that there's a little bit of farming, which is fun. I think it integrates it in a way that's pretty neat and like, that's cool.
Yeah.
There's not nearly as much like social stuff as there is in Stardew. Like you're pretty much just down there by yourself.
Yeah. Until
a little bit later where, you can get like merchants and shit like that. But by and large, like, there's nobody to romance down in the mine.
No, count me out.
No
romance.
Thanks.
I'm out.
Nobody to kiss. No thanks. So that part of it is pretty cool. I'm enjoying both the farming and the mining part of it. It's got a little bit of like the survival gamey stuff where you're trying to like, upgrade your resources to get better stuff, to go deeper into the mine and shit like that. There's also a certain amount of like bosses that are in the mine. So like, you'll just kind of stumble upon them at a certain point and be like, oh shit, this is the giant slime monster that, you're supposed to defeat so that you can get like some kind of rune to escape the mines essentially.
Sure.
So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. The art is like really, really good. It just looks like it's really good pixel art. The lighting's really good. It's super fun and like is pulling me along in the way that those games typically do.
Sure.
The kind of, just drive to get more stuff and find more places and explore more. That's all really good.
Game Boy Adventure.
A bit. Yeah. It's a little bit of progression going on there. That's got me. I've also been watching Emily Alice play Stardew Valley. She hadn't played it before and just started a character. She's like, do you think I would like this? I was like, I really do. You're going to love this. She's already played like 40 hours of this game.
Damn.
It's just like deep into it. Yeah.
She's in it.
And so it got me sort of craving this kind of video game where progress and momentum are a big part of it.
Okay. So what makes this game different than like a Terraria or a Minecraft, or like why should I play this instead of one of those? Does it have anything that really like makes it stand out from the crowd? Because this is kind of becoming a crowded genre at this point.
A little bit, yeah. So I think the perspective is different than those other ones. Like for whatever reason, the side scrolling view of Terraria did not jive with me. Like I don't know why, but that view of the world for whatever reason just didn't do it challenging. Literally the physical view.
Yeah,
it was hard to navigate for me. Whereas this one looks a lot more like a Zelda, like a Link to the Past or something like that, where it's like this top-down view. And as opposed to like Minecraft, you're using everything as building blocks, right? Like everything can be sort of broken apart, where this one, again, feels a lot more like Stardew Valley, where there are, like iron ore or copper ore or something like that that you can go gather and like build your base that way. And to be honest, like I don't know that there's anything that is like groundbreaking in this game that's like, hasn't been done before in other games. I think it just does all the things well that it wants to.
Sure.
Like it's a pretty well-made version of this kind of game.
Gotcha.
And it's polished really well. Like a lot of the graphics and the like UI and shit like that is purposefully kind of throwbacky in a way that reminds me of like a SNES era game.
Okay.
The start screen looks like a Super Nintendo game, which I was like, yeah, I'm
already here, baby.
Yeah. And so, yeah, to answer your question, like, I don't think it's like, breaking new ground, nor is it being hosted on newgrounds.com. but it is just a really good example of this kind of game.
Sure.
I know that my tolerance for that kind of experience is pretty high. I really enjoy games that kind of wear their influences on their sleeve.
Sure.
You know, my love of deck building roguelikes is evidence for that, because like it was kind of just Slay the Spire for a little while there, and then like a bunch of people were like, ooh, actually I really like this. I'm going to develop my own game. God, dude, Monster Train.
Stomping down the hall.
I never talk about Monster Train on this cast because I'm just always playing it, but good God, I think I beat it the other day.
Like, beat the whole game?
I think I beat the whole game because, like, there's sidebar for Monster Train for 2 seconds. There are these things that you can do when you beat the final boss. You unlock like covenants, which are ways to make the game just a little bit harder.
Oh, okay, like heat in Hades.
Very much, yeah. No, it's a very similar concept to Heat and Hades. And I finally beat the game with 25 of those extra like difficulty things on.
Goodness gracious. That's a lot.
It's a lot. And like the credits rolled afterwards. I'm like, okay, I think I did it. I think I beat Monster Train.
You have beaten it down to its last pulp. Its last drop of goodness has been rendered to you.
Yeah, no, the Monster Train
has left the station.
Whoa, that's nice. That's really good. Anyway, what I was saying is just that my tolerance for these games that wear their influence on their sleeve is pretty high. I'm okay with having experiences of games that are very clearly influenced by other games. I think about games like Eldest Souls, the game that was like just kind of like a boss rush Dark Souls game, the top-down one that I talked about last year.
Sure.
Any of the deck-building roguelikes, Banners of Ruin, Griftlands to a certain extent, but there's a lot going on in Griftlands that's pretty different. Vault of the Void, which is a good game unto itself, but like is definitely taking what's going on in Slay the Spire and shit like that.
Yeah.
Rogue Book. A lot of these games where...
Need I go on?
I could.
Sure you could.
But yeah, I don't have a huge issue with these. And I think it's just like, I enjoy those genres and don't always need something to be pushing the genre forward, especially if I've already got a game that is doing that at that given moment. Yeah. Which is the case right now. And so, like, yeah, I think my heart's just open to having good video games experiences, whether or not they're, you know, totally original or not.
Oh, yeah. Good.
I am also playing this game called Tunic.
I've heard about this one.
Yes, this is a game that came out recently.
Yeah, it's a new game.
It's on Game Pass. It's worth a look if you have Game Pass. I'm actually going to hold off on talking about it extensively because there's like kind of spoilery stuff that happens in this game that I don't want to like get into super hard.
Okay.
Because it is pretty new. I don't want to like ruin that for anybody. And also I'm like, you know, I'm into the game, but I'm not super duper far into it. And it seems like it is changing dramatically at a lot of points. I will say this, it reminds me a lot of Fez in ways that are really, really cool. Like I'm really liking that a lot. Okay. And the soundtrack also sounds like Donkey Kong Country with like, oh my God, dude. Oh my God. It's so good. So yeah, it's good stuff. I'm really enjoying it, but I'm gonna hold off on speaking to it a lot more until I'm like either done with the game or a little bit farther in, because I do want to be able to like speak to the whole experience, because I think that will be a different interpretation, just like, you know, the first like handful of hours or whatever.
Okay, cool.
Which will bring me to Elden Ring, David.
I was about to say, where is it this time? Where's she at?
It's right here. It's a really good video game, David.
People are losing their minds over this game.
It's really, really good is the issue.
Yeah.
So I've beaten the game, which, you know, it's just, I couldn't fucking stop. I couldn't put the video game down until it was done.
And you did the big Unga Bunga for your first playthrough, right?
Yes, I did. Which
Bungus Ungus?
Bungus Ungus. That's the name of my character. I had a very big sword that I just clanked around for a while. So yeah, beat the game with big Club Boy as my character, and was like hoping that I would be like freed from the thrall of Elden Ring, because like again, I cannot play other video games when Elden Ring is right there. Like the minute I hit any level of frustration in any other game, I immediately put it down and go play Elden Ring instead. It is shockingly satisfying, this game, even though it is also hard. Like it's so much fun. Yeah. It's so playable in tiny little bite sizes. You can just grab, you know, I'll play this for 20 minutes, go find a new dungeon that I haven't been to or whatever. And anyway, so I beat it and was like, oh, thank God, I'm finally over it. I can call that experience done. Yeah. And then just immediately made a new character and started over. Just like, no, I have to get back in there.
Did you do a magic user this time?
It's exactly what happened. Yeah, I made a magic user because I had heard from people that it was a pretty different experience playing the game as a magic user. And it is. It is a very different experience. I hesitate to call it easier because it just seems like different things are hard now. Like with the big heavy sword swinger, I obviously had a lot of health and my defense was really high. But I had to get like right up in these people's faces and find the one like animation that the enemy was doing that I could feasibly swing this giant anchor because it takes so long to do.
Anchor, that's right.
And so like that part of it was interesting, but I could be a little bit more lackadaisical with like, well, you know, I would hope to not take damage, but like take a little bit. It's not that big of a deal. I'm wearing a lot of armor, got a lot of stamina. It's going to be okay. Whereas the magic user is immediately much stronger as far as damage output goes. Like they're doing a ton of damage, and from pretty far away, you could like, you know, throw spells at people and it's not necessarily hard to hit them, but God, you really can't let him get very close.
Sure.
Like, a dog will kill you pretty quick.
Glass cannon.
You know? Yeah. So it's there are bosses that I'm like, wow, that was a cakewalk. I just like walked in there, threw some spells at him, and that was it. Whereas, you know, in the other game or the other run, I was struggling quite a bit. But the opposite is also true, where like, God, I could take a lot of these hits in my other run.
Sure.
Whereas like I have to be very careful in fleeing a lot of this battle. Specifically, the horse battles are a lot harder.
Okay, sure.
Because like before, again, I could just take the hit. I just run by, throw my anchor at him, and do a little bit of damage. Whereas this one, I'm trying to like snipe them from far away, and it's not nearly as easy. Anyway, this game it's fucking outstanding. Like, I think when we recorded this last, I was experiencing the internet being super hot on this game. And I didn't necessarily want to just pile on that, like, you know, it's the best game I've ever played thing. Cause like I am wont to do that. Like, yeah, the sense of Podtimism makes me incredibly susceptible to saying this is the best game ever. Yeah. And so I was a little reluctant to like pile on there, but like, God damn, I like, it's just so good. I think I was playing it with a little bit of bloodlust in my eyes. Like,
a little bit of Bloodborne in your eyes?
Yeah, I was playing it like the other Souls games where I'm like, I just got my eye on the prize, objective to objective. I'm just beating bosses. And I think beating the game and starting a different play style has really helped me kind of just like absorb the world a little bit more in this run.
Sure.
And like, yeah, it's such a well-crafted game. It's so good. I think the biggest testament to it is that I have a hard time not playing it or thinking about it. I am so rarely a person who plays a game twice. And it's pretty much only FromSoft games that I do that for because they're still enjoyable the second time. Yeah. Like it's still pretty hard. It's still challenging. There's not like a gimmick to the game. Nothing is gated behind like unlocking a lot of shit. It's usually just like you can beat the game pretty quick if you're pretty good at it. And by the time you've beaten one of these, you are pretty good at it. Yeah. And so like, it's enjoyable to go back through and sort of like flex this muscle that you've developed over the course of playing these games. And this one is totally the same way. Like, I'm not being pulled along because the story is necessarily great. It's fine. It's present. Like more than it is in other Dark Souls games, but like I watched like a YouTube explainer today of the story and I was like, I didn't catch half of that. There was
you didn't
so
dive
much
into
of
George's
that.
Story?
No, dude, like so much of it is just like passing dialogue that some like impish little ghoul tells you as you're like running down the street.
Ghoul, you say?
Yeah, like just some dude like you hear him from a mile away. It's just like a text box at the bottom with like a ... and then
you hear him from a mile away.
Just like weird shit like that,
yelling across a canyon at you.
Yeah, essentially, like there's like a lot of characters like that are just little scamps that like want to give you a little bit of information. And like more often than not, I'm like, okay, I understood some of the stuff you're talking about, and goodbye now. Like, sure. I'm off to my next thing. And like I got supposedly the good ending.
Oh, nice.
Couldn't tell you that it was the good ending. I was like, I don't know what really any of this means.
Did you get the good ending, but did you get the true ending?
I think so. I think that was the true ending. Okay, there's a particularly long quest line that you can follow through in sort of the middle of the game that I did, which allows you to do the quote unquote good ending.
Oh, okay.
There was a big old sword at the end of that quest line. I was like, I got to get it.
Okay, cool.
So yeah. did that. So, and anyway, point being, like, the story is not the thing that I'm there for. And so, like, it is not like a game where once you finish the story, there's not a huge incentive to go back through, right? We were talking about this a little bit with Horizon Zero Dawn and Ghost of Tsushima too. Like, once you've beaten the game, the mechanics are still fun and good, but like you've gotten the thing that the game is like very much leading you along with, right? Like the story of those games is keeping you pressing forward. Yeah. At least it was for me. And so once I have figured all that out, it is less compelling to like want to go back in there. Whereas again, with Elden Ring, there's so much of that shit. I'm sure I haven't seen half of this game. There are just so many dungeons, many bosses that just like you're on some random cliff and then a monster puts its hand up on the side of the cliff and suddenly you're fighting a boss. Like so much of that shit. Like it's all so good.
That's
so many just like there's quite a few instances of a dragon just like showing up and like trying to ruin your whole day.
This dragon is just showing up.
Well, you just be like riding through, like looking at the scenery, and then the health bar pops up, and you're like, oh no, who is going to fuck me up? And then just a big old monster lands. Very much. And I think this game specifically nails what I wanted the dragons in Skyrim to feel like, where when one of them shows up, it is like terrifying of like, oh no, I am ill-equipped to fight this fucking beast right now. I do not have the resources to fight you. Yeah. Whereas in Skyrim, the first one was like that, but then after that, you're like, I'm just going to shout this thing and beat it with my club. Like, it's fine. It's still fun, but, 10 years on, that gimmick kind of like, it doesn't hit quite as hard.
You don't have that I will fight you dragon energy for Elden Ring. You're like, I will flee from you, dragon.
No. Yeah, unless I've got like a place that I can go hide, like I'm usually just running away. Those things are way too strong.
Fair enough.
So yeah, it's a phenomenal video game. I have a hard time finding the things that I don't like about it. It's hard to compare it to other games and not think it looks better than them. I think so. Considering this for like game of the year stuff, people have been throwing that conversation out a lot recently, and obviously like I'm holding my judgment. I don't know what's going to come out in the next 9 months, but I think when comparing it to stuff that I've put up against like GOTY before last year with Chicory, I think I still value the thing that the game is saying a little bit more than I do like the mechanical bliss of like any of these games. Sure. And that's not to say that a game like this couldn't land at number one just because like, damn, the mechanical bliss be good. But like, I think if something were to come along that like did story a little bit better and also felt as good, like that would easily be, or even like half as good as Elden Ring does. That would like do it for me. I think like we talked about with like Nier Automata and shit like that too. The thing that game was saying was the thing that I'm left with after playing it. Sure. Like, I still think about Nier a lot. Like it's just constantly, I'm just constantly thinking about it. It's a good ass game. And so, I don't know that Elden Ring is saying a whole lot with what it's, doing. Yeah. I think it's just like a mechanically incredible game, like outstanding in the mechanics that it's using and like the vibe and sort of the environmental storytelling and shit like that. Sure. So, I certainly wouldn't, rule it out just because it's only mechanics. Obviously I like fucking Dyson Sphere Program and Satisfactory. Those are only mechanical games. Yeah. But I think I would have to wait, because if something hits me as hard as Chicory does, then I'll have to,
have to give
bump that around. Yeah. But yeah, it's fucking outstanding. Like the game is good. I'm very ready for May whenever this game starts to devour your free time as well.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be like mid late May.
Let's get it.
Let's get it, baby. Let's get it. It's gonna happen.
Anyway, this will bring me to my Podtimistic thing of the week too.
Let's hear it.
So, an interesting one.
Okay. All right.
I am the proud owner of a Steam Deck.
Ooh, did it come?
It was supposed to come on Monday.
Oh. Uh-oh.
And I wrote this list and my notes for the week on Monday, and I was like, it's definitely going to be the Steam Deck because I'm going to love fucking around with this little device. It ain't here yet. It ain't here yet. So I cannot speak to the quality of the Steam Deck, but I'm at like all day, I'm just staring out my window trying to see if FedEx has pulled up with this little device.
Just sad little Chase Albee just staring out of his window like, are they here yet? Isn't Valve based in Seattle?
Yes, they are.
Interesting.
It's shipped from Chicago, so I don't know what's going on.
Oh, must be where they got manufactured, I guess.
Probably, yeah. I'm really excited for it. This little thing looks fucking cool. I've been watching so many videos of people's like setups.
People
and
seem to
how
like
well
it.
it can. People seem to like it. I'm very excited about that. I am going to turn it into my like indie game machine.
Oh, for sure.
Because like there's plenty of games that I like playing on the PC, like especially anything graphical intensive, like or that really require mouse and keyboard. Like I probably could not play Satisfactory, the Steam Deck. Like requires way too much like first person precision and shit like that to like actually do it well.
Yeah.
Any indie game that is like, you know, feels like it could be at home on the Switch, I'm like, oh yeah, that's gonna be a Steam
on the
Deck
Steamy,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like Disco Elysium would be perfect on a Steam Deck if you hadn't played that before.
Because it has like the trackpad on there too.
It's got the trackpad. It's going to run better than it does on any other handheld thing. And like, yeah, the screen looks incredible. So like, yeah, I'm really excited for anything in that sort of zone where I don't necessarily just want to be in front of my computer playing Disco Elysium. I'd love to like have my headphones in on the couch and just kind of hanging out.
Yeah, that's where it should be played.
So yeah, I'm thrilled for it whenever it decides to appear.
Come on, Gaben.
Hopefully by the time this episode airs, I will have had it. You got 2 weeks, Steam Deck.
It's coming.
By the time this goes up. Surely 14 days from now.
Tomorrow it's coming. I'm calling it. Calling my shot.
Oh man, I really hope so. It was supposed to come on Monday and then it got delayed. And then it was supposed to come today and then it hit me with the pending.
Ooh.
Don't know what's going on.
It will come on
message.
Wednesday, my dude.
God, I hope
They're just taking their time. They've heard of video game Podtimism, so they're giving you a sweet, tricked out, sunflower-themed Steam Deck. It's going to be tight.
God, that would be cool. If like Gaben was just like a big VGP head.
Shout out Gaben.
Shout out Gaben. Send David a Steam Deck.
I'm not beyond begging.
No. In fact, I'm very behind it. I'm behind
begging here on this podcast.
Pro begging. If you give me stuff, I will definitely beg. I don't need dignity.
I like groveling even. Why not?
Sure. Why not, dude? If it means a Steam Deck, please.
Come on, baby.
Hey, do you have something fueling your sense of optimism, David?
I do. And it's a sweet quadruple kill to end the game, baby. That was me. Tactical Slayer on Halo. 4 kills in a row. I was fucking RoboCop out there, dude. Headshots only. Got them all. Won the game. It was beautiful.
Damn. A very MLG optimistic thing of the week.
MLG, drink balls energy. Subscribe to my channel. Watch me stream. I stream every day on from 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. Come on over, everybody.
Whoa, 12 hours of gaming.
Hey, I'm wild boy.
You're a devoted streamer,
Devoted streamer. But yeah, it felt good. Felt pretty great.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. I love that.
Just
Congratulations on your quadruple kill.
Thank you. It was I felt so proud of myself.
You should be. If there's anything that feels like a dunk, that is it in video games.
That was a poster. That was a posterization of the other team.
Yeah, no.
Most definitely.
Yeah, somebody fell down when you dunked.
I jumped over them somehow. Like not just a poster, but like I was over their body. Either I jumped over them or they fell and I jumped over them. Either way, it was a big time game. It was a major league smush, as the great Jerry Reynolds would say.
David, you know I don't know sports.
All my sack heads know. My Kings heads know.
Oh yeah.
Remember the old folksy color commentator Jerry Reynolds?
Yeah, absolutely.
He would say he would call big dunks major league smushes.
It's a very Sacramento thing to call dunks.
You watch the replay, he's like, oh, and here he is taking him off the dribble, and he just goes right by him, and bam, major league smush right there. Just like, wow, what a man. Anyways,
if only we could find out what a major league smooch looks like, David.
Ooh, America's not ready yet, unfortunately. America's not ready. They'll get there.
We'll figure it out.
They'll get there. It's too powerful.
Sick. Do you want to move on to our main thing?
Yeah, let's do it.
I think Major League Smooch is when they mod being able to kiss Garrus in Mass Effect 1 into the game.
I was thinking it was to like Major League professional sports players kissing on the court. Be like, hey, we're in a relationship. America ain't ready for that, though. That's for damn sure, unfortunately.
See, I still think it's the Garrus thing.
No, I like the Garrus thing. The Garrus thing is more... That's a MLG smooch.
Yeah.
It's a Major League game and smooch.
People will clip that and put it on YouTube.
Hell yeah.
with like Skrillex behind it.
Skrillex?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think the kids are into Skrillex anymore.
No, they're not.
They'll be like Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny's hot right now. Or Marshmallow. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying things now.
Saying words that I've heard on the internet. Hey, over here.
Hello. Yes. Hi.
Would you join me over here in this segment?
Yeah. Yeah. We can come on over and cuddle in this segment for a bit.
It's Good Games, the segment where we talk about the okayest games of yesteryear and gush all the things that we love about them anyway.
Mm-hmm. Sure is.
We're talking about Team Sonic Racing, goddammit.
Yeah, not really about the games of yesteryear today, but definitely a character from yesteryear.
Yes, our boy Sonic.
Our boy Sonic.
You know him, you love him, you maybe love him too much, or not enough. There's a world where you don't love Sonic enough. You need to let him into your heart.
The bell curve of people's love for Sonic is actually a flat line. There's equal amounts of everybody who either loves or hates him at every different degree.
Yeah, the distribution is completely equal.
Yes, it is an equal distribution.
We're talking about Team Sonic Racing. Why? I'm not sure. We pitched this and both of us were like, yeah, I do want to talk about that.
I mean, you were talking about Sonic a little bit before in the Forza episode when you were talking about Forza, at least. Yeah. That was a while ago, I bet. It just seemed right. I don't know.
I totally hear you. It feels like episode 99 might as well talk about Sonic now.
Like, and what Sonic is definitely a very often mentioned series on this podcast, and I don't think we've ever done one of its games.
No, I usually don't like Sonic games.
Same.
I hate to be like a little unoptimistic at the start of this, but like I usually don't care for them.
He's the other blue video game character in your life.
Yeah, although I enjoyed Sonic Adventure when I played that. Mm-hmm. I doubt it has held up at all, but like I was into that at the time.
It's good. It's good for the time.
Hey, can I hit you with some hot stats about this game real quick?
Yes, please.
Hot stats. Team Sonic Racing came out in May 21st of 2019. So a fairly recent game, although that is pretty fresh. Although I guess that's 3 years at this point. So.
Almost, yeah.
It was developed by Sumo Digital, which may come as a surprise, but they also developed other Sonic racing games. Developed Sonic All-Star Racing Transformed, Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing.
Ooh, who are the Sega All-Stars?
I believe the monkey from Monkey Ball was in there.
Hold on, you keep doing this. I want to see who the other Sega All-Stars are.
Banjo and Kazooie?
Avatar? Oh, Xbox Avatar.
There's also Me, apparently, which I assume was on the Wii version.
Oh, yeah. It must be Beat from Jet Set Radio. Big is so weird. We can talk about Big in a little bit here. Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg. Oh, my God. Whoa, that has awakened something in me.
Yeah, Billy Hatcher is like a character I have not considered for quite some time. They also developed Little Big Planet 3. And Crackdown 3.
Little Big Planet 3 and Crackdown 3? Those weren't done by their original studios?
No, apparently not.
Fascinating. I had no idea.
Do have a review of this game by Games Radar. I have pulled it from Moby Games. I've taken the original translation of the review. I've run it through Google Translate through as many languages as I could find, one after the other, to properly mangle this review.
Sure, perfect.
So without further ado, let me read to you what Games Radar had to say about Team Sonic Racing.
Radar.
Sonic games, movies, and new Sonic fall into traps. If the foundation is solid, light, and focused and on track, Team Sonic Racing will be a delight. Hedgehogs may be smart, but in dreams, the whole game looks better. 5 out of 10. Not so good.
Wow, I was expecting higher from what they were saying.
Me too. It sounds pretty good when you read through it like that, but like
out of 10.
They came down a little hard.
I somewhat disagree with this.
I do too, David. So, just for context, can you explain to me what this game is, and have you played this game or any in its series before?
I've never played any Sonic-based racing games before.
Sure,
but what this game is it's Sonic doing Mario Kart. It's an arcade game, and they're not carts, they're actual cars, but they are the size of a cart, essentially, right? And you race around these crazy tracks. You can drift, you can boost, you have items that you can throw at characters or use defensively. But the big twist that this game does is, like, if Mario Kart Double Dash had two characters that kind of interacted with each other on one cart, In this
Yep.
game, you are racing in teams, so you have like a three-player team that races against this other team. So you can win individually, but you also need to win as a team.
Yes.
So your teammates, you can like drift behind, or not. You could like get a speed boost behind a teammate.
Yep.
If a teammate like spins out, if you like drift by them, you can give yourself and them a boost to like get them to going quicker and get you a boost as well. And then if you're like sharing and being kind to your team, because you can share items in this game with your teammates, you build up your team special quicker, which makes you like, it's essentially like getting a star item in Mario Kart. You become invulnerable, you get a speed boost, and if you hit other enemy players, then it like prolongs how long that goes for. So that's really like the big thing that it does differently than like a Mario Kart. But other than that, it's pretty much a Mario Kart game, like wacky tracks, arcadey, fun, enjoyable, but wild. It's a wild game.
Yes. Yeah. No, totally. That's pretty accurate. And like I, for whatever reason, was not expecting the sort of mechanical twist that they bring to this game.
Yeah.
The like team-based racing.
I liked the drafting a lot.
No, me too. Yeah, it feels pretty good. I also didn't really know how to use the items very often.
I was very confused.
And so what I almost always did was just give it to another member of my team, because you get points for that charges up your like super meter where you go like, supersonic or whatever.
Yeah, it's not very clear what each item does when they give it to you.
And I guess like if you played Mario Kart for the first time, you wouldn't necessarily know like, what does this box do or what does a mushroom do or something like that. But like,
they at least visually look different. All these look like little squishy things.
Yeah,
I really
was I had a hard time even identifying what they were. So
yeah, same.
Didn't necessarily, but anyway, it lets you just give it to another teammate, and that like almost always worked better than me trying to use it. Yeah, that's the game. I have not played any of the games in this series, but I did play Sonic R, which was a game that came out in 1997 for the Sega Saturn. I think I ended up playing it on PC, and it was like,
it's like a racing simulator with Sonic.
No, it was a game where everybody raced, but they were all on foot. Like, Sonic is just running. Yeah, that was the only one I had played. I hadn't played this series at all. Let's see. What did you think about this video game? Why don't we say some cool stuff about it? Things that we like.
Well, I already said that I really enjoyed the drafting that you can do on your teammates. I like the team centric portion of it. I thought that was an interesting way to kind of shake up this genre, the kart racing genre. And I would love to play it with 3 friends against 3 other friends and see how that goes, because I do think that there is some strategy that you could employ with these tools they give you in the game. So I'd be curious to see like what online play is like. I'd be curious to see what local multiplayer play would be like. Of course, I haven't tried any of that because I have no friends in Santa Barbara.
Oh, no.
At least no gamer friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I like that aspect of the game, and I'm also very intrigued by it and would like to see where that could go. I think the sense of speed is fair. I don't think it feels like I'm going as fast as like a Mario Kart does sometimes. Like when Mario Kart gets going, you are scooting through that track. I don't think I ever felt that in the Sonic game, which is kind of weird that the Sonic game felt bizarre, like a little slower than a Mario Kart game, but it was still, I still felt like the controls were tight and responsive, definitely different enough than a Mario Kart mechanically, so that I couldn't just like use my Mario Kart skills to just do this game really well. Like if you do that, then you're going to mess up if you play it like Mario Kart or like try to drift like Mario Kart. So it does force you to have to kind of learn how to do that. I thought the visual presentation was pretty good. Yeah. The levels were interesting. I kind of laughed at Roulette Road, though. Did you get to that one?
I think so.
I just thought it was funny because it looked so much like Rainbow Road, and they just called it Roulette Road.
Yes, no, yeah, I did.
Played very differently than a Rainbow Road.
Yes.
But looked similar visually. And I also did like that they had some different things, like different ways to race, as opposed to just like racing against other people like in a Grand Prix. There's like drift around these poles, and like if you go on one side you get extra score multiplier if you do it that way.
Yeah.
So kind of rewarding you for like trying to take the harder turns or lines on a turn.
Yeah.
Or like gathering coins, and like the more coins you gather when you're drifting, you get more time to gather more coins. So it creates this kind of fun loop in that way of it's trying to change up the formula to be a little bit more engaging. So it's not just the racing. And I appreciated that.
Yeah, for sure. I also totally loved the like twists that they did on this game. Like I said, I wasn't really expecting that. And like it was kind of welcome. Like I like the part of Double Dash where it's like, this is a weird entry in this series.
Yeah.
Because it's trying something new. And so like I enjoyed that too. Like it's rare that you see a racing game where like your whole team has to do well enough to win. It's not just you.
Yeah, we have to boost everybody up to win this game.
Yeah, and like that there can be like different roles in that sort of team makeup too, which is really cool, right? Like Sonic is easily, the most fast player on that lineup. Tails is like a technical driver, so I think
he turns well and drifts well.
Correct, yeah, and so like conceptually he can be used to like get to other players very easily. And then I think Knuckles is the other third of that
power,
like,
so he like busts through things and like obstacles don't slow him down.
Yeah, which
classic
is great.
Echidna move.
Very Echidna. And so like I like that part of it, that even in the same race, you're kind of trying to do different stuff, your teammates, right? Like it's not just like race super good. It's like, well, I need to be around to like slingshot my friends into a different part of the map, or like if somebody gets like knocked out, then you can help them by like getting them up to speed faster by like, I think just running into their cart.
Yeah. You run into the cart, makes them go.
And so like that part of it it's just really good. I like found a lot of originality in that, which I liked.
Yeah, and one thing that I would have liked to see, I don't know how feasible this is from a game design perspective, but like if you're just a solo player, give me the option to like hot swap between the different carts, the different characters on my team.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I think that would have been really, really interesting if it's just you.
Yeah.
As like a more dynamic single player experience. Be like, oh man, Knuckles has fallen behind, I gotta bring him back up, and then like manage it that way. I think that could have been interesting.
Yeah, no, that's totally true. It's like a sports game or something where you control most of the team on your own.
Exactly. Yeah,
and they go kind of autopilot.
It's like I'm the QB, but then I pass it and now I'm the wide receiver, baby. Let's go.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
no, it's a fun idea. Because like a lot of the time I'm kind of just racing my race and like hoping that the rest of the team is doing all right.
Yeah, especially when it's the AI that you're racing with. Just like, we'll win the race, and it's like, oh, me and Knuckles finished 1 and 2, but Tails, you finished 5th? What happened, dude?
What's going on back there?
Where are you going?
Yeah, no, it's true. Listen, my heart is open, and listeners, I need your hearts to be open too when you hear what I'm about to say.
Is this gonna be, are you trying to do a spirit bomb right now?
Sort of, maybe. We'll see how this lands. I think this is the most fun that I have had in a Sonic game.
Just period?
Maybe just period. Like,
yeah, okay, sure. No, I hear you.
I'm trying to be kind about this because like Sonic is a very big series, and I know that people hold this very near and dear to their hearts.
Yeah.
And I really don't want to step on people's love of that. Like, I don't want to be that guy who's just like mean about it. But like, I've really never had like a really good time with Sonic games.
Sure. I'm similar. Like it's never clicked for me.
No, like in the way that if I'm playing a Mario game or any of those side-scrolling Marios, like I understand why I have lost Mario. I didn't do the jump at the right time, or like I didn't know the enemy's pattern well enough or something. Whereas in Sonic, sometimes I'm like, I'm just fucking lost in this level and I don't know where I need to be going.
Yeah.
Or like I ran too fast and fell into a pit of spikes. Like I need to memorize the level better.
It's like, I thought I was supposed to go fast. I thought that was the point of the game.
And like this game delivers on me going very fast as Sonic.
With minimal obstacles.
I was having a good time playing as Sonic.
Uh-huh.
That's almost certainly hyperbolic, but like this is a good Sonic game. Maybe Sonic games just need to be fucking racing games. That is how you go fast, my friend.
See, I hear you, but at the same time, I'm like, they should just make a Sonic racing game like Extreme G3.
Yeah, yes.
Like just go head first into speed. Get everybody on a motorbike. because Sonic ain't got no time for 4 wheels. He ain't got no time for 4 points of friction. He's got 2 points of friction. That's it. All right. Just go.
Yes. No, I mean, I'm all for it.
That's all I got to say.
Yes. Extreme G3 Racing is a good video game. I agree. So, I listen, Sonic fans. I'm not gonna dunk on your series stuff. Like,
I'm not trying to dunk on you. It's just how I feel.
It is how I feel, and maybe it's a combination of things. Maybe it's just like Sonic games are not usually for me, and also I like this. I think I like this game a lot. I kind of like Team Sonic Racing. I think it's a pretty good video game.
Do we need to get on a team and play online?
I think we need to get on a team and play Sonic Racing, Team Sonic Racing online.
All right. Okay.
We can do that.
We have the technology.
I know we do. The internet and PlayStations. So I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart recently.
You have?
I have been playing a lot of Mario Kart.
So good.
It's a very good video game. It's so surprising to me that Mario Kart 8, for all intents and purposes, has been out for like 8 9 years.
I need new Mario Kart, guys.
So here's the thing. I don't know what they would do to make it any better, but they are slowly releasing a lot of new courses right now.
Oh, that's right.
And the first like drop of those just hit.
Don't you get those? Don't you get those for free if you have the subscription service?
The Nintendo Online. Yeah, you do.
We eating, fam. Sorry. That was really obnoxious.
So yeah, the point being, the maps are very good, and it like makes the game feel new enough that you're like, yeah, I'm still into Mario Kart.
Mm-hmm.
There is a Mario Kart League through the Into the Aether Discord that I lurk in.
Hell yeah.
So we're playing in a like tournament that goes on weekly. So you just have to get in there and do 12 races to see how you stack up against other people.
Do you do like just time trials, or do you actually play with other folks?
You just racing. You racing with other people.
Hell yeah.
I think you have to have at least one other person to actually like do a race. So usually they'll just like at the channel and be like, who's around? And then somebody, handful of people will chime in. Anyway, point being,
that gets my jimmies rustled just hearing about it.
I know, it's fun. Somebody will usually post like a leaderboard for the week of like, here's who got first, second, third, and then like through the rest of the thing. It's very, very satisfying.
Just sending an to folks in a Discord channel of like who wants to race is such the like indoor person version of like going up to a red light and just like honking at someone next to you.
Revving your engine, yeah.
Just rev your engine, just look over. Hey, you want to race?
You want to race for pinks, dude?
We racing for pinks.
Anyway, point being, I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart, and it has done a few things. It has reaffirmed my love for Mario Kart. Like, goddamn, that game is good. It's so good, and like, it's after playing this game, I'm like, it's so wild that so many other companies, after sort of the like kart explosion in the late '90s, early 2000s, were just like, you know what, Mario Kart's got it. Like, we can't do this.
We ain't even gonna try.
No. And like Nintendo just ran away with the ball. They're like, yeah, we're just going to put out like some of the best Mario Kart games that we've ever put out.
So good.
But after playing so much of it and being pretty familiar with it right now, I still like Team Sonic Racing. It's still a pretty good kart racing game.
It's its own thing. It's its own thing, and like feels distinctive enough, but is also on that like arcadey scale of racing. Yeah.
That it feels still fun enough to just hop in and be like, yeah, I'm just going to drift my real blue car that Sonic is currently driving around the corner and boost out of it. It's just the
most stereotypical blue sports car you could ever imagine.
The whole game is so deeply Sonic, like from the cars.
Painfully Sonic. That opening intro,
the song, yeah.
When someone started singing, I was like, oh my god. What is happening right now? And it was all synced up to what was happening in the cinematic. Oh gosh, it was peak Sonic. It was peak Sonic, but like in a good way.
Sonic. They really know what makes Sonic nowadays. Like The 3D Sonics have like such a specific brand that like they really, really know how to extract that sweet Sonic nectar out of it.
Ooh, that's a cursed sentence.
Sonic nectar.
That's bad. I don't like that.
I will also say I didn't know that I wanted this, but I do want a campaign in racing games.
Yeah, that was interesting. Made it a little bit more engaging than just be like, all right, I'm going to press right and click on the shell cup this time.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And like, I'm totally cool with Mario Kart keeping it that way because it's the way it's been, or because like they just want to do the race. They don't want to put effort into like a racing story.
Just make a race fun. Yeah.
Because they've killed it with these last few games. So like totally cool with that. But I love the inclusion of a campaign here of like races with like specific goals that you have to do, just to kind of like break up the monotony or, give you a new thing to work on or learn a new character or anything like that. Like, I think that could be so cool in a Mario Kart game or any kart racing game, really. Mm-hmm. So I was a big fan of campaign mode.
You just want to make a arcade style RPG racer. Like that RPG racing game you were playing the other day, right?
Racing Lagoon?
Yeah, that's the one. If they did like a RPG style campaign in a Mario Kart game,
I would be there.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool.
I would really need them to have the melodrama that any racing story deserves.
So it needs a dating simulator portion as well.
I am not above that, David.
Are you going to romance your rival? Are you going to romance the referee? Are you going to romance the owner of your team? Who knows? Could be any of them.
It's if we're doing Mario Kart, I think the people you just described are Luigi, Toad, and Wario. So there's
man, you had 3 bullets in the chamber ready to go immediately. That was impressive.
Because you said the characters,
impressive.
And I was still thinking of Mario Kart, and so I was like, okay, who's your rival? Luigi, obviously. Who's the ref? Toad. It has to be. And who owns the team? It's Wario. Like, clearly, none of those are even under question.
Is Luigi your rival though, or is he just like your second banana? If this is Talladega Nights, if Will Ferrell is Mario, is John C. Reilly Luigi?
That's a good point.
Then who would be Sacha Baron Cohen?
I think it's easy to say Waluigi. I don't know if that's true.
Bowser?
Yeah, it has to be Bowser, right? French Bowser.
French Bowser. Ooh, Baguette Bowser? Bowser?
Bowser's coming. French Bowser's coming.
Bowser?
I'm here to steal your princess.
Just chain smoking cigs. little what is that? A toupee? Not a toupee, but a beret, right?
A beret on Bowser is something I can get into.
With a thin ass little mustache, glass of wine in one hand, and a baguette in the other.
Oh boy.
Escargot on his plate.
We may be turning Bowser hot, David. We need to be careful here.
Bowser is very close to Bowsette.
Yeah.
We've already made Bowser hot, so we're just re-hotting Bowser in a different way.
We're turning him into a himbo, which I'm not opposed to. I'm not above that.
Wears suspenders, but clearly has a six-pack underneath.
See, I was thinking more Bod Dad. Whoa.
Bod Dad.
Whoa. It's too hot in this room. It's confusing my brain.
Baines John has a bod dad.
We need to explain what Baines Johns means. Or maybe we don't.
Everybody knows what Baines John is.
It's me, the secret agent from England, 700. Baines John.
Baines John. The secret agent from, I don't know, Norway.
Wales.
It has to be something Nordic, though, right?
Yeah, if we're talking Baines, that's a pretty Nordic place.
Finland,
the Finnish spy.
Is this how we think Finnish people talk?
I don't know, David. I'm just doing generic Icelandic. If that's not it, I'm sorry, all of our Finnish listeners. I think there is a listener from Finland.
Oh no. What have we done? I'm so sorry.
Maybe we'll just end on Baines Jaunt. the end of the segment.
Edit it how you see fit, Chase Albee.
Yeah, sure.
I trust your judgment.
Baines Jaunt.
From Finland, which we respect.
Like James Bond, but with the letters switched.
700. Baines Jaunt.
700. 700.
700 Baines Jaunt. Sounds like an address, but it's actually a spy.
We are so far away from Teen Sonic Racing.
Yeah. Can we talk about the cracked out raccoon from space for a second?
Yeah, the villain.
He's from space. He comes to their planet has these big old bug eyes, calls them dumb. And it's like, hey, come in my spaceship and compete in my tournament. And they're like, okay.
I'll take you to my racing planet, which is a real thing.
They're just casually letting themselves get abducted by aliens in this game.
Somebody in the team was like, that actually sounds pretty sick. Let's do it. I don't remember who it is, but he essentially just convinces the whole team. I think it was either
Knuckles or Sonic. Maybe it was Knuckles.
Which, by the way, all of these characters are voice acted, and it's a real treat. Like, they sound like somebody in a voice acting booth. Like, it does not sound like Sonic the character.
I got intense DBZ Budokai vibes from these cutscenes where it's just like the character and then someone talking, and it's like, it's not bad, but it's definitely not good either when they're talking. It's a very specific type of a voice acting experience where it's like, I feel like they're just purposely trying to be campy with it, and I kind of like it. It kind of I vibe with it.
I do as well.
Like, it makes sense to me. Like, okay, this is it's setting the tone, and it's not good or bad. It just is what it is.
Can I tell you the plot synopsis for Sonic?
I'm so curious because I only got through like the first level and a half, or world and a half, I should say.
Dodon Pa is the character that you were talking about.
Dodon Ray, which also made me think of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a Tanuki, an alien Tanuki, apparently.
Sure.
He builds cars outfitted with advanced technologies for other racers, offering them as a prize for the winning team. The Sonic team, though they are skeptical of Dodon Pa's motivation, agree to go to their planet. The competition takes them across the world, with Dodon Pa pitting them against increasingly difficult challenges. I think that all seems pretty above board.
Sure, yeah.
The racers remain suspicious of Dodon Pa, believing he may be working with Sonic's longtime nemesis, Dr. Eggman. Investigating further, they discover he is of the planet, he is king of planet Donpa Kingdom. And the president of Donpa Motors Automotive Corporation.
Sure.
The company is constructing an ultimate energy engine, which gains power from teamwork.
No shit.
Intending it for philanthropic use, Dodon Pa has been using the races to gather research for the engine and generate energy to power it. After unsuccessfully attempting to steal the engine, Eggman and his henchmen kidnap Dodon Pa and hold him hostage on their battleship. Eggman deceives Dodon Pa into finishing the engine for him, forcing Sonic and the others to continue racing to power it. Eggman installs the engine into a doomsday robot, but it goes haywire and destroys the battleship. Sonic and his friends manage to rescue Dodon Pa as the ship explodes, though the cars are destroyed in the process. A grateful Dodon Pa builds everyone new cars, and they prepare to race again.
Damn, that sounds like a Fast and the Furious movie.
Except for the part where it was almost Shinra from Final Fantasy VII. Where my man is building like just a perfect energy engine that is fueled by, quote, teamwork.
What? How does that even work? How does that make sense? It's just like, oh, we just need teamwork to make this engine fueled.
It is so deeply Sonic. The equivalent of opening Sonic the Hedgehog with a song by like a rock group with a man singing like butt rock is equivalent to this story. It's
definitely butt rock.
It's butt rock, yeah. Whoa.
Damn. That is quite a synopsis. I'm surprised and not surprised that that's how the story went.
Whoa. But anyway, apparently Dodon Pa, pretty Dodon chill.
Yeah, he definitely gave off some major bad vibes in the beginning.
Sketchy vibes, yeah.
And his eyes are like humongous. He's just like...
It's very scary.
Like, that's why I called him cracked out, because his eyes are just like bugged completely. They're humongo.
Yeah, yes. He's a scary fella. But apparently just trying to solve the energy crisis with...
He's mysterious.
Teamwork.
Misunderstood, Dodon Pa.
Nobody gets me. Dodon Pa.
Nobody gets me. I'm just quirky. You don't understand me.
It's not a phase, Mom. I'm going to be Dodon Pa for the rest of my life. Anyway, this game kind of owns. I'm into this game.
I enjoyed this game. It was silly fun.
Yeah.
It's a game that's totally okay with being a video game.
And I'm totally okay with it being a video game.
Same.
Also.
Same. It's just here for a good time. That's it.
Yeah.
Appreciate. Respect.
Respect.
Respect to you, Sonic Team Racing.
hello, listener. And David.
You wanted me to respond. Hello.
I guess. I don't know. Why I was
listening
expecting
to you, but I don't know if I would say I'm a listener.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I do listen to this podcast, but continue.
Yeah. If you would like to get in contact with us, you can reach us at Podtimism on Twitter. You can send us an email, podtimism@gmail.com. Those are the ways you can talk to us if you're interested.
Nice.
If you want to help out the show, a phenomenal way to do that is review it on your platform of choice.
Mm-hmm.
Appy Podcasts is a place you can do that.
Appy Podcasts.
Appy Podcasts.
Appy Potties.
Appy Potties. And Spotify is another place that you can do that. And it's a lot easier on Spotify. So if you're feeling so compelled, that's a great place to do it. Let's see. Thank you to a bunch of people. First.
Yes.
Scout Wilkinson.
Scout.
For our podcast art. It's very good. And you should look at it with your human eyes and revel in how good it looks.
People use the sunflower emoji for our podcast now, so thank you. It's beautiful.
That's a Scout OG. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Scout. She's also got some like cool stuff going on her Ko-Fi right now. If you go to ko-fi.com/humblegoat, you can go check out what she's got going on there. She just released some like membership levels for friends of the show, which you get some like, text dumps. She also gets some, BTS stuff from her if you go up to the next like little tier and exclusive content, dagnabbit.
Can you give me that again?
ko-fi.com/humblegoat. She's got good stuff out there, and you can just subscribe to that because she does great work, and you should commission her if her commissions are open. I don't think they are right now, but in the future maybe. She's a great artist.
Sure is.
Buy things. I forgot to mention the other thing you can do for the show, so I'm going to do that now. You can also share it with a friend. It's a great way to support the show. You can tell them, hey, I like video games. You like video games. How about this podcast, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're like on a road trip with your friends and you're like, there's clearly been some romantic tension and you're not totally sure like what's been going on. Like they maybe tried to hold your hand last time, but like, it was kind of chaotic. Maybe they just had run into it. And like, you guys text a lot and like, it seems like the vibe is right, but you're just not really sure. So you guys are on this road trip. One of your friends was going to go, but then they bailed. And then last minute, you're like, okay, well, like, do you still want to go? And they were like pretty emphatically like, yeah, let's do it. And so you get in the car and go, and like vibe is right. Putting on music. Maybe put on Video Game Podcast and see if they like that podcast.
Put it on. Maybe put on this episode where Chase has a Freudian slip and calls me Bean, and be like, you could be my Bean, and see where that goes. Also, thank you to listener of this podcast, which is you. Please, thank you.
The person listening to this. You do us a great favor by listening to this. David and I like making it a lot, and we would pretty much be doing this anyway.
Yeah.
We would probably just be talking on the phone about video games to each other, but we decided to make some format around
It would
this.
just be a lonely Zoom call.
Yes.
But instead it's a friendly chat that you all get to listen on as well.
And yeah, so there's some value driven out of that. So I like, I just want to say thanks for listening to it. I appreciate you. Is that all the things? I went in a weird order and now I'm all thrown off.
I think that's everything. I'm pretty sure.
All right, great. David.
Yeah.
Do you have any video game wisdom for us and me and the world?
Sure do. I'm keeping it short and sweet this week.
Okay.
Teamwork makes the dream work, baby.
Yeah, that is short and sweet.
That's it.
You can't.
It's the teamwork from Team Sonic Racing is why I said it.
Yeah.
You get it. You get it right.
I got the vibe
You
there.
didn't seem excited by it, so now I'm second guessing my wisdom of the week.
No. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say no, David.
I'm so conscious about my wisdom, Chase.
No, you don't need to be. We've almost done this for 100 episodes, David. You're spitting out pure gold at this point.
Oh God, you're right. We've been doing this for almost 100 episodes, so I should be better at it by now, is what you're saying.
Stop being so hard on my friend.
Okay, hold on.
David.
Let me think. Let me meditate for a second.
Are you coming up with another one?
I'm coming up with another one. It's gonna come to me.
No,
I'm meditating.
don't.
I'm doing it.
David, I like the first one. I'm going to ignore the second wisdom that you give because I like the first one.
The second wisdom is let your friends tell you when you're being ridiculous so that you can live your life the way you want.
So here's my paradox.
Time paradox.
Because I said I wasn't going to listen to it because I liked the first one, but if I don't acknowledge the second one, then I'm not letting you acknowledge your feelings.
I'm growing as a human right before your eyes, Chase.
A third gaming wisdom is required. No, that's great. I love those gaming wisdoms. You did a great job the first time and the second time.
Our teamwork makes this podcast dream work.
Dream work.
DreamWorks, featuring Shrek and
Where
Donkey.
did that come from? Okay, all right. We're
Didn't they
kind
do
of spinning
Shrek?
off, and they did do Shrek.
Do you know they're doing a Puss in Boots too?
Puss in Boots, huh?
Sorry, the Negroni's getting to me now. Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots. I didn't see the first one of those, I don't think.
I didn't either, but they're doing a Puss in Boots too.
Oh, I saw that one.
Oh, you saw Puss in Boots 1?
Yeah.
Numero uno? Never
Yeah.
saw it. But they're doing a second because I guess Antonio Banderas is like, need some more
What
money.
the fuck else am I doing? I'm really looking forward to the video game that they put out about Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots. It feels bad the more I say it. So sorry if that's a painful auditory.
It
sort of
sounds like it should
listening
be
experience.
one word. Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots.
Like German or something.
This is my Puss in Boots.
Oh no! Was that Jurgen from Great British Bake Off from the last season?
Yeah. That probably is a German dish that he's baked. The Puss in Boots. It comes from the land of DreamWorks.
Oh, you do that too well. Oh man, Jurgen was my favorite.
Justice for Jurgen.
Justice for Jurgen. Giuseppe was amazing though.
Yeah, no,
Not
my
gonna
man knows how
lie.
to bake.
But Jurgy Pants says,
Anyway, now it's next time is episode 100. So
tune in if you want or not. It's gonna be a party either way.
yeah, we'll be having a kickback at the podcast. You can come
We're
through.
each gonna be having a kegger for the 100th episode.
But again, another challenging listening experience.
Yeah.
So come through if you want to.
Come watch each of us solo a keg on the podcast next week.
Christ alive. No, we're spoiler for next week. We're just going to talk about some games that mean a lot to us. That is not.
Yeah. We don't need to relive our undergrad days, that's for sure.
I can't. I couldn't possibly. My body would implode.
Just thinking about the amount of liquid I held in my body when I was an undergrad, I'm like,
Painful.
How?
Painful.
How did that work? Makes no sense.
Anyway, we will see you next week for the conclusion of season 1 of the video game Podtimists.
Oh, that's what a Puss in Boots is. It's a 100th episode of a podcast.
Oh, God.
There you go. Crack the
There
code.
you go.
Crack the
Crack
code.
the code. That is Da Vinci's Code.
It's the
That's what
golden
Tom
ratio.
Hanks is looking for, baby. I don't know the words that are coming out of my mouth anymore.
You said Dan Brown, Tom Hanks, Da Vinci Code, all makes sense. It's all kosher.
Dan Brown's interpretation of Shrek and Puss in Boots 2 was a real disaster. Go Team Sonic Racing.
I got nothing else. Let's just end this. Let's put this one out of its misery.
Goodbye.
See ya.